Today's episode is brought to you by DNA Sports Training. If you or someone you know wants to take their game to the next level, then hit up DNA Sports Training. Visit DNASportsDenver.com to book your training session today. We offer specialized sports training from football to track and field and everything else in between. Whether you're an offensive or defensive lineman wanting to get better off the ball, or you're an athlete wanting to take your game to the next level, go on and hit up DNASportsDenver.com, sign up for a lesson, and let's get it going. DNASportsDenver.com. Yo, Don, I don't know about you, but hearing that beat got me wanting to go. I know we about to have some highly contested conversations today, especially in
the juices flowing
in the name of hip hop. But
yes, sir.
Boy, hearing that beat got me wanting to go.
Welcome back, man.
What's going on, brother?
Not much. Episode number 8.
We made it to 8. Don't hate. We feel great. No, man. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Like Dom said, this is episode number 8, man. This is the next one, and pretty soon here we're just gonna lose count, and we're just gonna continue to build and grow, and all off the you guys tuning in and sharing and liking and doing everything that you do to shout us out when you do and to support what we're doing. Also, again, like you heard the promo, go to DNASportsDenver.com, book you up a training session right now. If you want to improve your speed, agility, you just specialized offensive line, defensive line, anything. Even if you're not a football player, even if you're not someone that runs track or anything like that, and you just want to be a better athlete, I'm sure we can have something for you. I'm sure we can make something happen. So hit it up.
Yeah, that's for sure. Check out the website. And again, it's going to vastly improve your skills. I already have one of my clients today say that it's improved their hands and their footwork already. So, go ahead and book a session, get down with us as soon as you can, so that way we can make you better and your skills can make us better as well as coaches.
Tom, you have a good week, man?
Yeah, it was a good one, man.
It's quiet, a little bit lighter this week than the week before, but bringing back up your new topic, our new segment that we're bringing on about what's going on, kind of what's going on the last week, man. I've been reading into the stories and trying to find things that aren't just sports related, bro. Trying to find things that kind of can vibe with everybody. You know what I mean? Like, life is more than just sports, and sometimes sports and life intersect. And but I was reading the other day, and everyone knows, like, social media and stuff like that is never safe. I mean, we like to think it is, but it's definitely not.
Big Brother's listening.
Big Brother's listening. Hey, thank you for tuning in, Big Brother. After this one, we'll probably definitely get some more tune-ins once the algorithm picks it up. But hey, no publicity is bad publicity, right? But basically, I found this topic, man. It's talking about Facebook can track your internet history, your credit card numbers on other websites. So Meta is reportedly rewriting websites visited by its users and tracking them across the web to find out what they look at. It's apparently monitors all user interactions for advertising, is what they say. Both Facebook and Instagram are reportedly rewriting these websites and visiting that their users use all the time when they launch off of, like, Facebook or Instagram. It comes from research from an ex-Google engineer that claimed that the social networks inject other websites with a tracking code whenever a link is open through their inter-app browser. So this is basically coming from the app. Yeah,
man, it's crazy, bro, to think that our technology has just came this far to where it listens to provide more relevant ads and things like that forever. But I think it's just scary that everything we say is being stored somewhere and reviewed by somebody. I feel like it's invasion of our privacy versus the function of these apps. Like, you either want your phone to work how it's designed and let us listen to you, or we're not going to listen to you and your phone's going to be a piece of crap. You know what I mean? So, like, it's crazy, dude.
I think everyone knows that they do it for advertising. I mean, how many times have you been talking about something with your wife or with a friend, and then you go to search something? Feed. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, I work in the plumbing industry, bro, and I can't tell you how many times in my search feed, like, I get some plumbing parts that come up. Like, buy a water heater. Yeah. Like, I don't need a water heater, but
laying some pipe.
Like, where my Maybe, but you know where we be at. You know where my phone's at. 5 days out the week. So like, there's no coincidence why I'm there. So it's kind of scary, bro. Like you said, I think it's just overstepped by big tech, man. And you see this in a lot of things. You see it with Google, and it's funny that it's an ex-Google engineer that's bringing this out. There's so much stuff behind the scenes with Google that's yet to be exposed that people are going to lose their freaking mind on, man. And, not to go all crazy with it, but like, they have a lot of influence on what people see, what people listen to, what people, what articles people find, like with their search engine optimization and shit. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that they can do that kind of make things hard for you to find that you want to find if you're looking for something different than they suggest.
Yeah, and a lot of people know this, but I'd be curious to see if this has any impact on like sales of technology going forward. If more people start to be like, you know what, I'm cutting that tie. I no longer want anything technology wise in my house.
I don't know, man, because technology makes everything so easy for you.
It does.
I think we're victims of convenience, man. Like,
I won't get rid of it. I'll tell you that much.
It's gonna be hard, bro.
They can listen to me all they want. I don't care.
I don't say anything interesting. I don't think I say anything enough to warrant them kind of. I mean, I guess some of the stuff like I believe in could be considered fringe, but I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more worse characters online than me.
I think we talk about a lot of that stuff anyway. You know what I mean? So like,
our points are kind of out in the open already.
Yeah, I mean, we're not afraid to vocalize how we feel and say those type of things. You know what I mean? So.
True.
I love the technology.
So this story says that Meta says it hit back on claims that the tracking code follow users' privacy preferences, and that the data gathered is only aggregated for use in targeted advertising. But the capability to do so is just kind of scary with it, man, because I just think you can do anything with it at that point. And who's to say someone doesn't get their hands on it,
Yeah.
But another story you had that you hit me up on, man, was about these black retirees from the NFL that are kind of getting another chance at some money and at proper due.
Yeah, and they're doing a lot of more neurological tests rescored after the court ruling, and they're starting to find out a lot more information to help some of these players out and kind of, look for things that they weren't looking for in the past. And they've came out and said, that they've taken some responsibility for this, and they kind of didn't know the scope of the science at that time, and that's why they're kind of opening it up now. And it sucks for some families that may have no longer with us that could have benefited from this, so hopefully they make right by a lot of those families. But it's good to see that they're actually doing what's necessary to support our former athletes.
Well, and it was weird because it was like 654 former football players that happened to be African American. That their tests were rescored to eliminate previous bias, and now they all qualify for awards. And they're saying that there's probably more out there that would qualify, and they're encouraging them to get rescored. Apparently, the original algorithm, though, the original testing algorithm adjusted scores by race as a proxy for someone's socioeconomic background. So it's basically saying, certain factors of you being black led to you having this extra stress or this extra problem in your life, right? Which is freaking crazy, dude. And the fact that it's 2022 and that was going down until recently. You know what I mean? From that bigger lawsuit into NFL kind of helping out players with the concussion stuff after they knew for years that football's dangerous, obviously, and concussions are a little bit more serious thing than, hey, get up and get back in that game. You're fine. You just rocked your bow. Yeah,
and the active payouts have reached somewhere over 916 mil. And the total of approved claims has topped 1 billion. So, it's I imagine that number is going to continue to grow. But again, at least they're doing the right thing to make sure that we can study not only for the players to benefit them in their lives now, but also maybe study to try to prevent some of these injuries in the future, especially when it's related to CTE and things of that nature.
Well, it's funny because they're saying about the algorithm that factors such as age, education, and race, they've always used those in neurology to help diagnose dementia. But experts say the formula wasn't supposed to be used for payouts in a legal case. So, they took some information that the medical field uses and try to use it to support their claims that they don't owe these people money. You know what I mean? And that should have never been the case. And so now, like I said, hundreds, almost 700 men. And they speculate there's probably more out there that can be reevaluated and have their score be adjusted without the bias. So we'll see how that comes along, man. It might be something we might be touching back on here soon.
Yeah, and the 3 conditions that are covered by the settlement are Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, Lou Gehrig's, and of course the CTE deaths that were before the settlement in 2015. Those were also covered under this. So again, the numbers are going to grow, and I think, they're going to start covering a little bit more things, but they're going to do more scientific studying to make sure that they're doing what's proper.
I think that's the important part, right? Because you need to know whether or not something's going on so that you can kind of limit yourself from having to pay out later. So
For sure.
The further you can get ahead of it on the scientific side and actually explain to some of these folks what's going on and what's going to happen, what you may see happen, you can kind of red flag them signs a little bit sooner. And family members, man, can kind of see that. And, if a person's starting to become distant or just not themselves, that in their former football player or former athlete or former just anybody in general,
Yeah.
CTE, although it's prevalent in football players and soccer players, it's not necessarily something that can't happen in people who experience severe trauma to the head.
Yeah, car
times.
accidents, anything,
Nope. It's here mid-August now, bro. It's hard to say 2 weeks away from being September, dude, but football's in full swing. You can
smell it in the air.
I think that was your little exchange before we got going.
Hey, this is a great smell.
But, high school, college, pro, they're all in the thick of training camp. What are you looking forward to in the upcoming season, man? We could start it out like locally and then move on into college or just local area teams or whatever.
Man, so I'll start at the youth level, obviously. I think it's really exciting to see a lot of the growth that's in Colorado football. Before you'd have to have a lot of these teams traveling out of state, going to California, Texas, Arizona, different places to play, Kansas, different places to play other teams. But now we're seeing teams come in to Colorado and play some of our teams, and they're visiting our state.
Yeah.
And, they just had some teams from New Mexico out here, some teams from Montana out here, some teams from
Oakland.
Were out here. So there's a lot of active activity going on and networking within the youth organizations here in Colorado with other states as well. And, that's just great to see. So shout out to all those coaches that are making this happen for these young men. It's not an experience that a lot of the players of our generations got to have, so it's a great thing, and my hat's off to all these coaches, whether we compete on the sidelines and we know each other in real life, whether we like each other in real life, regardless of the fact, you guys are doing a great job, and I applaud you guys.
It's building a profile for the state that'll eventually translate into our high school football, and I think our high school football isn't necessarily fully respected as it could be, and there's reasons to it, obviously, and they're legit reasons. And so I think by these guys bringing in these teams to come play and these teams coming, it elevates the competition, right? And you see what it's supposed to look like from different states, and how a lot of you get California teams in here. California's notorious for great football, and you see how they do things. Maybe it's something that you can apply to yours. You bring a Texas team in, you bring New Mexico teams in. There's all something that we could take from each other, and it's also it's to say that we've got a good pipeline starting here. Now let's funnel it through these schools, and we'll continue to see more 4- and 5-star athletes from the state of Colorado, which is ultimately, I think, those would end up funneling into some of our schools here possibly. So I think it's definitely big. On a high school level, man, I'm just interested to see if like Cherry Creek can go four straight in 5A. It's wild.
They're a powerhouse, man.
Some of the stuff in 4A with Chatfield coming back as a state champion, defending that, and then some of these teams that are around there that were on their way up, and then 3A, man, seeing the teams like North and Meade. That conference is a tough conference.
Yeah, I got excited about it the other day. So 9 News did this thing. They do the prep sports or whatever.
Yep.
But they had a commercial, and it was basically they brought in a lot of the athletes. They had athletes from TJ, all over, Meade, different walks of all over high school football. And they had, the player spotlight from week 1 that we did, Blake Barnett was on there, and they were talking about him afterwards, and they're talking about his infectious personality and how they're looking forward to what he's going to do up at Erie this year. So it was cool to see one of the kids that we highlighted on our first episode on 9 News, you know, and they were talking about him highly. So
and that's a school that's going to be really good, bro. They lost in the state championship to Chatfield last year, and there's no reason to believe that they won't be back.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe win it this year. You know, a year removed, you got a little bit more experience. You know, you can kind of grow from that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens with CU and CSU. You know, can they get back to some sort of respectability? You know, Carl Durrell's up there, and I think this is, 3rd or 4th season. Mm-hmm. You know, if you subtract the COVID season, you know, it's probably his last opportunity to really kind of set aside himself.
Yep.
Can they make the jump from bottom dwellers in the Pac-12 to, you know, lead the pack in perhaps the last season of the Pac-12? You know, who knows what's going to happen with that conference? And then Jay Norvell up in CSU in his first season, can he bring some of the success that he had in Nevada over to CSU? I think out of 5 years, he went to 4 bowl games. You know, can he bring that back to CSU? I remember CU and CSU, they used to be top 25 back when I was a kid. They'd always be up, you know, CSU would kind of be more bordering, you know, but they would get in. They had some really good teams. And then CU was legit, bro, all through high school and into my first years of adulthood, man. They were legit. And then somewhere along the lines, it's just...
Yeah, man, I just can't wait to just have that feeling of breezing through channels, you know, and checking out all these different games as they're on Saturday mornings, watching these college football games, you know, the atmosphere of a college football game, bro. It's just, there's nothing like it. Not even the NFL.
Nah, dude.
You know, you watch an NFL game, and NFL's the NFL, but you watch a college game, bro, it gets the juices within your body going, bro. And
you get, like, the passion and the youth from, like, the students, you know what I mean? And, you know, you feel 100,000 people in a stadium, like, there's no NFL stadiums that are packing 100K in there, bro. Every weekend, you know, it's wild.
And then it's intense. The energy, the environment, bro, is just, it's on go 100% of the time. So I'm super excited.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, is the SEC gonna dominate college football again this season? Is there a conference that's gonna step up and rival them? Will the Big Ten finally come do it?
I'm sure there's teams out there. You know, at the start of every year, the goal is to compete and win. And then
at the end of the year, you got Georgia and Alabama, or Alabama and LSU, or you know, it's wild how competitive that, and now having Oklahoma going into there, Texas soon, I think is going. Like SEC is going to be wild. It's going to be interesting to see what the Big Ten does when they take in USC and UCLA next year. Like. I think there's going to be some good football, but it's going to probably start funneling down.
And then preseason's already going, man. And there's been some exciting stuff going on with the preseason. You know, some people, you know, really shining and making themselves known, and then some not looking so great.
I think it's dope for them guys to get an opportunity, bro. Like NFL's hard, man. It's there's only a select few that make it, and so to be able to get this opportunity to kind of try to shine, and you always find that one football player that no one saw coming, and then the next thing you know, they're the Philip Lindsay making the roster. You know, so it's wild, bro. I love preseason. It's kind of sad when you see some of these cats getting cut, but that's part of the nature of the beast, you know.
Yeah, you know, speaking of Philip Lindsay, I was watching the Colts game the other day, and it's pretty exciting to see that, you know, a Colorado boy, he's doing his thing still, you know, and he's behind the best back in the league, arguably, you know, so he's going to learn so much.
Good change of pace
from JT, and good for Philip Lindsay, man. Yeah. Shout out to him. Shout out to the Lindsays and what they mean to Colorado football. You know what I mean? So big ups to you, Philip.
Hey, man, and also Max Borgi in Denver.
Oh, yeah.
His chance. I was watching him yesterday, hit the hole a couple times. I thought they were going to let him try to run it in. Man, it's cool to see these kids from Colorado, dude, get their chance. And
it is. And shout out to the Broncos, right, for doing that and giving some chances that probably wouldn't have been given
to some local kids. So, and it's not like they're just throwing a bone to like these local schools. These dudes are talented. Like they're decent players. Like they have legit skills. Now, whether or not they can make it and stick, everyone in the NFL has legit skills and is decent, and you know they're the best of the best for a reason. So we'll see. But
you know, I'd love to see Max Borgi be kind of mentored by C-Mac. You know, McCaffrey, give him a little bit of love. I think they're very similar a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just take him under his wing. I know they don't play on the same team, right? But you're both Colorado boys at the end of the day, so show some love.
I think too, like what happened with Borgie up in Washington State he was there during Mike Leach, and then Mike Leach left, COVID. That season kind of screwed things up, and then he just didn't get the amount of touches that he normally got in previous seasons. He battled a little bit of injuries here and there, but I don't know. Like you said, it's exciting to see these local boys getting it, man. Can't wait. But that's what's going on this week. That's what's caught our mind. So make sure you hit us up, DNASportsDenver.com/AskDNA. If you want to point out a story that maybe you saw that we should be talking about, go on and do that, man. We're always happy with that. Speaking of stories, Dom, that kind of caught my mind, bro. This one really took it, and it makes sense though, and this is what we're all about. Yeah. But there's this it was brainsmorrow.com had this story about exercising intensely. Like the more you do it, the bigger and stronger your brain grows, even in an old age. The study revealed that in older adults, even 20 minutes of moderate physical activity can protect against cognitive decline. It's widely known that exercise has a positive effect on the body and metabolic health, but it's less studied how exercise affects our brains and where in the brain we can actually see the effects from exercise. Crazy story. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, dude. I put the link in there, but it came from the researchers of German Center of Neurodegenerative Diseases. They
say that 5 times twice.
They conducted the study addressing this. They reveal how the intensity of exercise plays a vital role in brain volume, especially in areas linked to cognitive decline. They used data from previous work by the same organization called the Rhineland Study. They analyzed physical activity from 2,550 volunteers ages 30 to 94. So a big chunk of people. They went people our age. They didn't go young people, but you got to imagine that, it's similar effect, if not more.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Honestly, this is why I stay big. Because it would be unfair to others if I was in better shape and smarter. You know what I mean? Like, it's already kind of unfair, but if I was in better shape and smarter, it'd be over with. I'm just playing. In all seriousness, man, this is great. Just like before with the NFL players where they're doing more studies to kind of get behind and do more scientific studying to health and things like this are great, man, because it shows how stimulating exercise truly is, makes you feel good, but also it's actually making your mind sharper, so all you people who go out there and get a morning workout in the morning, you're doing more for your day than you really realize.
Well, you're doing more for your mental health too, in terms of like mental strength,
your longevity.
Yeah, being able to. I mean, we all have tough jobs and things that we battle through during the day. So exercising might actually help that. Like that's something we should all think about. And I definitely think about that. I need to do more of it in the morning. I think the idea is to go to work and maybe get off work and do a little something, but doing it in the morning might be the better bet just because it gets you going, get your brain stimulated. It's better than coffee.
Yeah, for sure, man. This is a great thing. I think speaking of, being smart and in shape and doing all the things the right way, this guy had to have been working out tons of times, man. Shout out to Christian Whitney at Black Sevens. If you need any graphic design work done, make sure you hit up Christian at blacksevens.com. Christian is a native of North Denver and a beast at what he does. He is also a great dude. Visit blacksevens.com right now to see his work. Buy some merch and see all that he has going on. He knocked the DNA logo out the park, and we are super excited to feature his work. Visit blacksevens.com for more.
Bam, what up, Christian? Also, special shout out to Charlene and Lash All Beauty. Find them on Facebook. You can also find her on Instagram at lash_char_love with 2 E's. She said, book your appointment for lash lift or lash extensions. You can book that appointment at lashallbeautydenver.glossgenius.com. Char's so dope, man. She said she is giving our listeners $75 off their first set. All you need to do is mention DNA at booking. So, fellas, I know the ladies tune in because they respond the best. Like all our interaction come from the ladies saying, "Hey, especially some of the things we've been talking about."
Yeah.
So, fellas and ladies, make sure you go book that appointment with Shar right now, man. She's going to hook you up. $75 off some lashes.
Yep, get right.
Extensions, getting the deal set up. Bloop, bloop. I got them natural, so I'm good. But, yo, fellas, if you're in the doghouse, make sure you get out that doghouse.
Yeah.
Dom.
What's up, brother?
So we may be witnessing history this year, dude.
Oh, man, something special going on.
I don't watch a lot of baseball lately because the Rockies kind of suck.
Yeah.
And it really puts a damper on my spirits. And if you're listening down there at 20th and Blake, hear your fans. Their spirits are dampered, and we definitely need you to do something about it. But Aaron Judge, man, can be the 9th player all time, or can register the 9th 60-run home run season. 60 home run season this season. He's off to a scorching pace. I was reading this article on ESPN, man, and it was a really, really good article kind of laying out how he can make it happen. It was by David Schoenfield. And basically, Aaron Judge pushed for 60 home runs this season. Only happened 8 other times by 5 players, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Roger Maris, and Babe Ruth. A lot of people kind of put hate on Bonds, McGwire, and Sosa based off of their previous alleged use of performance enhancers. So 61 is considered by many as still the real clean single-season home run record. Bonds did that in 01. He hit 73. But he was just behind Bonds' pace at 112 games. He had 45, and I think Bonds had like 47 or 46. But, man, it's wild. It's wild to see because you don't see it that often. You see guys hit 50, but he's got a legitimate shot at hitting 60 home runs. And I know you said he got one the other day, right?
Yeah, man. So Judge entered Friday leading the American League with 94 runs, 45 home runs. He added his 46th home run in the 3rd inning of the 3-2 loss to Boston in 10 innings. 99 RBIs. He's just doing what he needs to be doing, man. This guy's a crazy athlete. He's on pace to have a season like Willie Mays in 1954, Mickey Mantle in 1956, and Babe Ruth in 1927.
Wow.
I think he's currently on pace to end somewhere around 66, 67 or something like that.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard to hold that pace, but, man, it's incredible.
Yeah, and he played his 109th game of the season. Judge is the fastest player to reach 100 RBIs since the Tigers, Miguel Cabrera, did it in 103 games in 2013, which he also won the MVP award that year.
I think that's the year he won the Triple Crown, too, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or it was a few years later, because Triple Crown's like a sacred one, too, in baseball, where you batting average, home runs, and RBI.
Yeah, so, again, he's on pace to finish somewhere around 66, 67. That'll put him right there with Sammy Sosa in 1998. Sammy Sosa hit 66, in 2001. Yeah. Barry Bonds hit 73. Mark McGwire in 98 hit 70. 99, Mark McGwire hit 65. Sammy Sosa was 64 in 2001. Wow. In 1999, Sammy Sosa was 63. In 61, Roger Maris was 61. Yeah. Hit 61 in 1961. Yeah. That's a cool fact there, huh?
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
And then Babe Ruth in 1927 was 60. So, those are some really prestigious names to the game of baseball. The great Bambino.
Yeah, dude, and to be possibly being only the 6th person to do this, and it's crazy when you look at the 9 or the 8, or I think it's 8 actually. Sammy Sosa has 3 of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and McGwire has 2. So it's an incredible feat. Regardless of what you feel about how Bonds, Sosa, and McGwire allegedly did it, I don't think you can learn hand-eye coordination from popping roids. I think it's more of the recovery thing. Yeah. But this article kind of laid out how to make it happen. You got to avoid homerless droughts. You got to play in a big offensive season, which right now I think is a pretty big offensive season. But they also pointed out like all 8 of the 60 homer seasons came in the league averaged at least 4.5 runs a game. So and I think league average right now is right up near that. It also says play at a favorable home stadium, which Yankee Stadium is very favorable, and then finish strong. It says to hit 60 home runs, you need to average 10 a month, right? Guys who got to 60 averaged 12.9 home runs in the last month of the season. So, like the last month totals for Bonds, he had 16 home runs. Yeah. Right? Stay in the starting lineup is another one. Like, you got to stay in the starting lineup, stay healthy. Otherwise, it's kind of moot at that point.
But shouts out to Aaron Judge because, like you said, there's a lot of people out there that are going to say what they want to say about Sosa, McGwire, and Barry Bonds and how they got to where they got to. if you eliminate those three names and he gets to 66,
yeah.
That says a lot.
It's how people still look at like the Hank Aaron record. They don't necessarily look at Barry Bonds as the all-time home run king. I actually seen that baseball that he hit to break Hank Aaron's home run record.
Yeah,
it's in Cooperstown in the Hall of Fame, which is funny because they won't put Bonds or any of them guys in the Hall of Fame, but
they put his ball.
His ball's in the Hall of Fame,
yeah.
And it's got a big asterisk stamped into the ball, dude. Whoever caught the ball sold the ball, and then whoever he sold the ball to stamped a big ass asterisk into the baseball. I got a picture of it. I'll have to post it online or something like that later on after we post this, because it's hilarious, dude. It's just, and it's Barry Bonds' 757th home run ball, and I get it, but I don't know, man. Part of me feels like the best pitcher of that era was Roger Clemens, arguably. And he was on juice, allegedly.
Yeah.
Best player, could be argued that Barry Bonds was the best player of that era. And the same could be said about him in terms of performance enhancements. So it's kind of hard for me to sit here and be like, those guys don't count, their numbers don't count, when you got other guys in there that were maybe, taking the amphetamines, the uppers to stay up on double headers and some of the shit they used to do in the 70s and 80s, you know what I mean? The white crosses and all that stuff, they basically doing pharmaceutical meth to be able to play games. So there's always been that kind of that teetering and tiptoeing towards different things, and it goes into a bigger argument. But I honestly feel like them guys should be included in the Hall of Fame and be included with their numbers. And so to see Aaron Judge possibly flirt with just the idea of him flirting with 73, or the idea of him surpassing 60 home runs, that's one number that's super hollowed.
Yeah.
And I remember back in the day there was a HBO movie called 61 where it was like documented the things that Roger Maris went through in his pursuit of Babe Ruth, who at the time record was 60 home runs. And so him hitting 61, they gave him shit because I think it had an asterisk on it for a number of years because it happened in more games.
Yeah.
He had more games to hit 61. So it's just, there's always going to be somebody in history that naysays your accomplishments. But to be able to get up there, dude, if he can get up there, bro, that big ups, because Aaron Judge he's done it the right way, and that dude is huge, bro.
Yeah.
He's like 6'8", freaking biggest baseball player I've ever seen that's not a pitcher.
Yeah, he's doing his thing, man, and he's on pace again to crush it, and finish with 66, 67, which is a great mark, and hopefully, he could even surpass that.
Well, yeah, like no one expected Barry Bonds to have 16 home runs the last month of the season, right?
Yep.
What's 16 minus 73? That math is a little tough for me right there, but that's what, like 57, 67? 57. Right, so he doesn't hit 16 home runs. He comes into the final month of the season with 57.
Yeah.
Right? Yo, you got to hit 13 to get to 60.
Yeah.
I think our math is wrong.
No, you said.
Okay, but anyway, it's still, nonetheless, he might have a big month. New York's playing for a lot. They're a really good team coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
They're going to need him to go off. He might have a good month and hit there, man. So I hope he gets to 70. I'll be happy for him to get to 62.
Yeah. Either way, even where he's at right now, just to be talked about in this light with those names, shout out to him and his career. He's doing the right things.
So, Dom, I know you got a new segment you want to introduce, and I know this segment's going to be hotly contested, and you might want to hit up DNASportsDenver.com/AskDNA to give us your opinion on what we're about to talk about, but I'll just let Dom introduce it.
Yeah, so basically this segment, we're going to talk about, is it hot or is it not? We will discuss and review any new albums, shows, movies, and this week we're going to discuss the Game Dramatic Heart vs. Mind album. So, Coach, is it hot or is it not? What's your take, man?
Oh, man. So
before we get going, okay, I want to make it very clear so that way our viewers out there don't have to say this later. Don't sugarcoat shit. It's either hot or not. There's no.
So I can't come in and say it's lukewarm.
No. You gotta choose your side. You gotta say it's hot or not.
Is it?
Well, even if you say it's hot and you get you hear backlash for it later because you feel it's hot for whatever particular reasons. It is what it is. You either have to find that line and define it. It's hard or not.
So there's no in between.
No.
I can't ride the fence on this one, huh?
No, you could in your verbiage, but the end result you need to kind of put that stamp on it.
Listen, the game is famous for sounding like others, so
okay.
First of all, there was a lot of that in the album, man. It's a decent album. Had a lot of good tracks, in my opinion. Some that were just kind of going through the motions, man, and I didn't dig. It's not, in my opinion. Okay. I'm just gonna say it now and then I'll explain myself. Right.
Okay. It's not. It's
solid. It's a solid album, but it's not hot. Okay. It's lukewarm, like I said.
Okay.
So it's not hot, but some of it kind of sounded corny. Like I didn't like a lot of the sampling that went on in some of the songs. Like there might have been too much of it. Maybe that's just what's going on now, and I'm just an old timer telling you to get off my lawn. Hated the way he sort of emulated Kendrick's style in Voodoo. I didn't think he did that a lot, and it lends you to wonder if he's using the same writers or if he got someone to write for him, or he's just a good writer, and that's possible too. I'm not knocking him on that. I'm just saying I didn't like the way he did it. Home Invasion was cool. No Man Falls was dope. I like that one. Pusha T killed his verse.
Yeah, he did.
I think 2 Chainz came through and sounded pretty dope on that one. I didn't like his M-Diss.
Okay, why not?
He sounded bitter, bro. He sounded like he had sour grapes.
Yeah, that's how you're gonna sound though. When a relationship falls out, somebody's gonna end up coming out sounding bitter, and probably both parties, and depending on how you're talking about it.
I mean, if that was the first shot, I think it hit in the shoulder region and it kind of missed the chest head region.
Yeah,
I don't think he bodied him in that first shot.
Oh no.
But I didn't like the way he went racial with him, which M couldn't come out like that, and I don't think he would. But it's just he tiptoes on some things ethically that I don't know that you should tiptoe on. And I know it's battle rap, you know what I mean, and it's always kind of been the case, and it might be reason why white rappers get a raw deal sometimes and also get too much credit,
Yeah.
So, but. Man, I didn't care for that. It's funny because I was on Facebook seeing just reaction to this.
Yeah.
And my homie Doug Luna, he was like, "Yo, you got to show me you can out rap Lloyd Banks before you can come at him."
Hey, that's for sure. But hey, game is hard, man. So for me, right? For me, it's hot.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to say that first and foremost.
Okay.
And for me, I like his different cadences and flow patterns he does on the album. I don't think it's before everybody says he always sounds like others. I don't get that from Game. Before I thought Game was Game. You know what I mean? On this particular album, I did see him doing it. I thought it was almost him mimicking a lot of these rappers to kind of show them I can do what you can do,
right?
But I can do it on this level type of shit. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was refreshing. It took a couple songs. I ain't gonna lie. There was a couple songs that I had to listen to over a couple times before I really liked them.
Yeah.
Especially the Eminem diss. You know what I mean? I listened to it a couple times. But if you're complaining about that flow pattern and the cadence, then why aren't we saying the same thing about Eminem?
No, and it's not for me. Not necessarily his cadence or flow pattern. Because I think there's some songs on there that are very creative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it takes a certain type of creation to be able to take someone's pattern and emulate it into a track. My thing was just the sampling of the Thuggish Ruggish Bone.
Yeah.
And there was a couple other songs that he kind of sampled and basically reverb. It was a remix, bro.
Yeah.
What I mean?
It gave more of a mixtape feel. Not only because it had 31 songs on it, I believe, something like that.
Yeah.
But because also he took a lot of beats and he was doing a lot of mixes and things of that nature. So
you know what I think?
It did have that mixtape feel a little bit.
You know what I think?
What's up?
I think the Game was making the album,
and
he's like, "Got to find me a hit, make me a hit." Oh, this is a good song, but it's not a hit. Let's go to the next one, make another one. Oh, that's a good song, not a hit. Hey, and he got to song 25, 26. He's like, "Shit, man, I don't got a hit yet. I need to wrap this album up." I know what I'll do. I'll make an Eminem diss track. That'll sell the album. And then he put that on there, and then you got a 30 song record with an Eminem diss track that is lukewarm at hitting Eminem.
Yeah, but regardless of it, that's marketing. You know what I mean? And
that's the old shady Aftermath way.
I can't really lie and say that I can pinpoint a hit on this album. Yeah. But I can say that I enjoy his creativity on this album. I could enjoy his lyrics on this album, and what he's talking about. For instance, La La Land, right? Yeah. La La is L.A. land, yep. Right? So he's talking about the gang politics of L.A. within that song. It's very creative, and he's not glorifying gang life in any way by singing that song, but he's educating people that are visiting L.A. to the gang culture, because you can put yourself in a situation where you're going to end up in harm's way because you don't know that wearing, a certain hat symbolizes a certain gang. That's true. He breaks that down in that song, bro. And
I told you it was lukewarm, man.
He was very creative with it. I loved that song. I loved the Change the Game with Ty Dolla $ign. How Far I Came with Roddy Ricch. Again, you mentioned No Man Falls with Pusha T. There was a lot of songs on here that were.
I think that's it, because the songs you're mentioning that you liked, there's some of them I didn't like. So I think it's just.
You didn't like?
Yeah, I didn't care for the one with T.Y. Dolla $ign.
No?
No, it was all right. I mean, it wasn't bad, dude. Like I said, dude, he got good lyrics. Like, the Game has some good lyrics. He structured it really well. I just didn't think it was super hot, man. I didn't think it was a bad album, but you asked me hot or not. And if it didn't burn my hand, it didn't burn my hand, so it's not hot. And that's all I felt on that. Like, I think there's some songs I was rocking to, and I think if I listen to it a little bit more, it's kind of like anything else. It might grow on me a little bit more. I've always enjoyed the Game. I didn't think anything bad of the Game. He's been of that mindset as the old G Unit, where start some beef to sell some records.
Yeah,
and, it's just cornball to me. But it at the same time it works.
But at the same time, like you could call it cornball, right? But that's the name of hip hop, right? There's always a battle within the beat. Like, we were talking about this the other day, how rappers battle within the same song. Like, who's gonna have the best 16? You know what I mean? Like, who's gonna have the best verse on a song? And so there's constant competition. So guys like 50, guys like The Game, who come out and they're taking these shots right away, right off the bat, that's kind of hip hop, bro. And it's kind of good for hip hop in a sense. The bad part about it is when the fans and
take it somewhere
everybody else takes it outside of hip hop, and that's when it becomes a problem. But as far as being that guy who's not afraid to take some shots and say, I feel I have the better skill set than you, and let's see it.
Yeah.
Do you think M's gonna respond?
I think M's gonna. I don't know. I think if he does,
do you think it's response worthy?
I don't know, and that's the part I'm kind of struggling with, because I don't know if it's anything. He responded to Machine Gun Kelly.
So would you? Because I had this conversation with Coach David.
Yeah.
Do you prefer the Machine Gun Kelly diss over this Game diss?
I was about to say probably. The Game took a page out of that and started talking about Haley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's like to try to warrant a response. So I think there's that aspect of it too, where he kind of took that page and kind of did a lot of the same shit that.
But it was creative too. Like, he brought Stan back, bro.
Yeah, I get that. But he brought Stan's brother.
Stan's brother, yeah.
But like like I said, he took pages out of the books, which is cool. Like, it's hip hop. You know what I mean? It's funny that you mentioned about features and always doing your best on features. I think he got bodied on a lot of his features.
The Game?
Yeah, I think so. Like whatchamacallit, Pusha T definitely murdered him on No Man Falls.
Hey, but
Pusha T
come on,
was harder.
But come on,
and
you're talking about Pusha.
But
Pusha T's gonna body a lot of people on a lot of their songs.
I know, but so did 2 Chainz. Also bodied him on that same song. Like, I thought both. I thought it was ironic that he sandwiched between the two of them, because I think the song started great and it finished great, and I think we got okay in the middle.
See, this is the thing: is Game on this, in my opinion, he was going, and this is what I think Game may sound like. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he gives a lot of respect to this person. Game is similar to Nas. Game is very similar to Nas, bro.
There was a couple times listening that I was like, "Fuck, is this Nas on this track?"
He's a storyteller, bro.
Nah,
so
you're right.
He raps in a certain level. He raps with a certain cadence, a certain delivery.
And see, I like that part of Game.
And he's a storyteller. So I think a lot of people, when they're listening to this album, they want that sound to come at you, and they want to hear it. They want to draw their attention. They're looking for a hit. That's not what he was. I don't personally think he was looking for a hit on this. I think he was looking for bars.
I think he was just making music, making songs, bro, to be honest with you. And like, I think I do hear that, like Nas, and, that's the Game that I like. On the documentary, there was a lot of comparisons to Nas when the documentary first came out, and that's the Game I like because it's super lyrical. It's just straight to the point, storytelling, kind of this is what's going on. But then, like, I don't know, some of these that, like I said, the one where he's in Voodoo where he's trying to sound like Kendrick kind of just threw me off, man, because I know that's not you. Like, it made it feel more unauthentic.
Well, there was even one song on here where he kind of was taking the cadence of Cardi B.
Yeah, yes.
You know, but again, he was talking about her in it too. So, like, I think a lot of this, bro, was to mimic him.
You think he's trolling?
And he's trolling a lot of these people, like saying, look, I can do this. I can do what you're doing. You get paid all this money. You're on all these top Billboard charts doing this same elementary type cadence. I'll do it too.
For sure.
Because he's a lyricist, right?
Well,
so he wants to
sound.
He wants to tell that story. So for him, in my opinion, he probably's like, okay, I'll dumb myself down and I'll do this too.
Nah, he's definitely good at marketing it, bro. You know, and like I said, it wasn't all bad, but I don't think it was all good. I'm interested to see if M comes back at him because that's really where the juice is in this. If he didn't put that M track out, bro, honestly, is this album even like argued like this?
I think so. I mean, maybe not argued in the fact of,
like, I ain't heard from the Game for a while, in my opinion. Anything noteworthy?
You know what? He did an LA Leakers freestyle not too long ago, and he had this bar. You know who Simba is?
Yeah.
So for our viewers out there, Simba's a really, really well-known artist out of the Bay Area. Or I don't know, he's out of California. I don't know exactly where. Very lyrical dude, very talented dude. Game threw a shot at him too. And he had probably the best Simba flip, bro. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, the Game is tight, bro. I'm a big fan of the Game. And I think that this album, a lot of people have to give it a couple listens, like you said earlier, because for one, there's way too many damn songs on it to listen through it all the way through and really digest everything that's being said.
For sure.
You know, so go back and listen to it. I think you're going to find some songs on there that you absolutely may not like, but I think once you really listen to what he's talking about, you're going to kind of get my perspective in the fact that I think he was creative. I think he took his time and kind of did a lot of these things that people were going to talk about and hate on purpose, but I think he kind of proved his point, in my opinion.
The thing that strikes me in his Eminem diss specifically is he touches on some feelings that I know personally people feel.
Yeah.
In terms his bar about 11 albums, only one has ever been played in my car. I know people who have said specifically that, like, I don't play that shit in my car. Yeah. You know, I know a lot of people that feel M is, you know, he mentioned cultural appropriation, that sometimes M might be feeling. I don't get that vibe, bro. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, in my opinion, when you start talking about cultural appropriation, it gets a little dicey, dude, because I think part of this country is the fact that we're so diverse and have multicultures here. So, I mean, if we can't pay homage to somebody's culture, like, I at some point, everyone's culture got over on the other culture. Yeah. Like, let's you know, try not to argue that.
Well, it's sensitive because it's almost like reverse.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Well, and like, to call him out for rocking a certain style, because he called him out for rocking the do-rags and never having waves, and, you know, just calling him out for the certain style. Like, I could see if Eminem, if that was his style, just that one record or one album when he first came out, and then, like, he stopped rocking that. But he's kind of been the same dude for his whole career in that aspect. But I know a lot of people that feel that way, like passionately feel that way.
And in all honesty, right, at the end of the day, they had a relationship at some point.
Yep.
Right? So there are some personal things in there that he said. You know what I mean? And then for the most part, a lot of it, again, is a lot of what the majority consensus is. A lot of people say, you know, that these are things that have already been said about him, and he's just touching base on it in his light, because if he doesn't, then he'll probably have to get a little bit more personal than he really wants, you know? And who knows, if M comes back, then maybe we see some more of the personal stuff. But I think, like, for the first jab, I don't think he wanted to knock him out. I think it was just a friendly exchange of words.
Man,
he wants M to come back so that way he can respond again, and then they can make
how you gonna respond if you
money
dead?
Off this.
How you gonna respond if you get killed lyrically? Wonder if M comes up with some shit that's just.
I don't think M, and don't get me wrong, I think M has the capability to kill him lyrically right away off the bat, right? And we've had the debate about Eminem and how I feel about Eminem, how you feel about Eminem, how others feel about Eminem. But at the end of the day, when it comes to attacking somebody or getting on a beat and letting somebody, like, he's going to do what he does.
Yeah.
So he has the capability of killing him, but it is still the game. And the game still has a really big fan base. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that one shot is going to totally annihilate the game like it would have, say, MGK.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, say a Benzino, guys like that, Cannabis, guys like.
So if we see the game switch over to like punk rock next year after Eminem responds to him,
he's gonna be doing
a career killer.
He's gonna be doing features with Stitches. They went from having beef to doing features.
I don't know. That's what bothers with me too, because like to me, Game's always been a gimmick. Like not him personally, but like he's always had a gimmick, right? Like in terms of like his beef with Stitches and his beef with joining the G Unit and beef with Ja Rule and them. And just I don't know. He's dope lyrically though, man. He does have some bars, and this album isn't like I said, it's not cold. It's just, for me, in my opinion, it wasn't hot. But I think the more I listen to it, definitely it might grow on me a little bit more, but
still might not make it to the hot level.
I don't know if it'll make it to the hot level, man. I don't know if it'll ever be boiling in Big Al's headset, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's that time again, bro.
It is.
We've had little nice discussions. If you guys didn't hear us earlier, the more intensely you exercise, the bigger your brain grows. So why don't you hook up with DNASportsDenver.com and book yourselves up a training session, and we can help your brain grow. We can help you be better athletes on the field, more athletic, all that good stuff. Before we get out of here, though, Dom, I just want to make sure we give a few shout-outs. Is there anything you're looking forward to this week?
I'm looking forward to starting our practice officially, you know what I mean, and getting going. We kind of had the little hiccup there. We started and got told we weren't allowed to practice. So, rules changing, timelines changing, but I'm excited to get out there with our boys and really get to it this week, and I'm excited for more football, man. Dude,
I was working yesterday, but I wasn't working. Like I got to go on behalf of my job for a charity event, and it was a cornhole event. Yeah. And it was fun, bro. And so it got me thinking how excited I am for our event coming up. Our second annual horseshoe tournament, right? Saturday, August 27th, over at Citizens Park in the Horseshoe Pits. Citizens Park, Wheat Ridge?
Edgewater Elementary.
Okay.
Yeah, Edgewater Elementary, so 20th and Benton, I believe, somewhere around that area. Citizens Park, also known as Edgewater Elementary. Come out, check us out, 2 p.m.
Double elimination, check-ins at 1. Entry fees are $35 per person or $60 for a team. Barbecue, BYOB, it's got to be cans only. There's going to be music, prizes. I believe there's like a raffle or silent auction.
Yeah, we're raffling off plenty gifts. We got some Spyderco gifts. We have some services. We have some DNA sessions. So if you're one of our listeners and you want a session, we're raffling off a few sessions.
Awesome.
We also have other local businesses that are going to be raffling off some of their services and some of their goods. We may have a TV raffle going off. I don't know. If I feel a little bit itchy, I might go buy a TV later on today and raffle off a TV too.
So you got a partner already, partner?
I've had a few people say they wanted to be my partner, but the thing with that is I usually have to play later because I'm gonna be doing a lot of the organization and cooking and things like that. So, but I think I'm gonna have.
So you're saying we're not playing?
No, we could play. We could be partners. We could do the DNA thing versus the world. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, dog, I ain't got a partner, and I don't know how to play horseshoes. I got played horseshoes before, but it's kind of like I went to the cornhole thing yesterday.
Okay, well, let's do
but
it.
I get my swing, dog.
Let's team up.
I get my
team
swing.
DNA.
Well, I just thought, I thought I was getting left out in the cold, Coach. I seen your teammate canceled on you, and I was just like, "What's up, dog?"
Yeah. No, my boy can't make it this year, but shouts out to him. He's doing his thing. He has a family wedding. Family comes first on some things.
Family first all the time, y'all.
Yep.
Shout out to Arsenal Custom Apparel. Shout out to Rebel Promotions, Black Sevens, Janice's Catering. Make sure you, like I said earlier, check out Lash All Beauty. Shout out to Shar on that $75 off your first session if you mention DNA. Yo, for my partner, Coach Dom, Coach Al, we're going to ride up out of here to the beat.
Go check out our website, man. Make sure you get you some merch. Book a session now.